The Grand Tribunal arena buzzed with excitement as representatives from 1,000 worlds watched the final round. Commander Ben Torres stood at his tactical station, sweat beading on his forehead as he studied the holographic display. The simulation showed a massive space battle with dozens of fleets from different species, each with unique strengths and weaknesses. Ben had made it this far by thinking differently from the other competitors. While most focused on raw firepower or advanced technology, he looked for creative solutions. The human approach had surprised many aliens who thought Earth's military was primitive compared to their own. "Final scenario begins now," announced the tribunal's voice, echoing through the vast chamber. "Defend the neutral station against overwhelming odds. You have 30 minutes. Ben watched as enemy ships materialized on his screen. 3 different alien fleets approached from multiple directions, each using tactics from their home worlds. The Kreks came in straight lines with heavy weapons. The Zephyr used hit-and-run strikes. The Vax relied on swarm tactics with small, fast ships. Most competitors would try to match each enemy with similar forces. Ben did something else. He mixed his defensive fleets, putting fast Zephyr ships with heavy Kreks vessels and small Vax fighters. The combination looked strange, but it worked. Fast ships drew enemy fire while heavy ships provided cover. Small fighters slipped through gaps that bigger ships could not see. The alien audience murmured in confusion as Ben's mixed fleets moved in patterns no one expected. His defense held strong while enemy forces struggled against tactics they had never faced before. "Time remaining, 5 minutes, the voice called. Ben made his final move. Instead of just defending, he used captured enemy ships to create false signals. The attacking fleets thought reinforcements were coming from behind them. Panic spread through their ranks as they tried to retreat, only to crash into each other in the confusion. Scenario complete. Victory to Commander Ben Torres of Earth. The arena fell silent for a moment, then exploded in noise. Some aliens cheered while others seemed angry. Ben had won the Grand Tribunal, something no human had ever done before. The ceremonial platform rose from the arena floor. Ancient traditions required the winner to choose an ally from among all the watching representatives. This ally would serve as advisor and partner for the next year, helping to maintain peace between worlds. Ben looked across the vast assembly. Hundreds of different species filled the viewing areas, each hoping to be chosen. The Kreks delegation sat in heavy armor, their war-scarred leader nodding approval. The Zephyr floated in their energy fields, moving like living light. The Mechanical Forge Collective clicked and whirred, calculating the benefits of partnership. Everyone expected Ben to choose one of the major powers. The Kreks controlled dozens of systems and commanded respect through strength. The Zephyr had technology that could bend space itself. The Forge could build anything the mind could imagine. But Ben's eyes moved past all of them to a quiet corner where the Thessaran delegation sat. Only 3 figures represented their crystal world, and they looked uncomfortable in the loud, crowded arena. Their bodies seemed to be made of living glass, beautiful but appearing fragile as flower petals. In the center sat Princess Vera, daughter of the Thessaran queen. She was small even by her people's standards, with crystal skin that shifted from blue to silver as light hit it from different angles. Throughout the entire competition, she had sat perfectly still, never speaking or moving unless necessary. The other delegates barely noticed the Thessarans. Everyone knew they were peaceful people who never fought wars or built weapons. Their crystal bodies could shatter from strong vibrations or sudden impacts. Most species considered them weak and useless in any real conflict. But Ben had been watching Vera during every scenario. While other representatives cheered or argued about the strategies they saw, she simply observed. Her large, silver eyes tracked every movement on the displays with intense focus. When tactical situations became complex, Ben noticed her crystal fingers would trace patterns on her chair, as if she was working out solutions in her mind. "Choose your ally, Commander Torres," the tribunal voice commanded. Ben walked down the platform steps toward the assembly. Kreks warriors straightened their armor, expecting to be selected. Zephyr entities pulsed brighter with hope. The Forge Collective's mechanical parts spun faster in anticipation. Ben stopped in front of the Thessarin section. Princess Vera looked up at him with surprise, her crystal features reflecting confusion. "I choose Princess Vera of Thessera as my ally," Ben announced clearly. The arena erupted in shocked voices. Aliens turned to each other, speaking rapidly in dozens of languages. The Krex leader slammed his armored fist on his chair. "The human has lost his mind," he growled. "What use is crystal glass in a real fight?" Similar comments came from across the arena. Many representatives laughed openly at what they saw as a foolish choice. The Zephyr delegation flickered with what looked like amusement. The Forge Collective made mechanical sounds that translated as mocking calculations about the probability of success. Princess Vera herself seemed frozen with shock. "Commander Torres," she said in a voice like wind chimes, "I believe there has been some mistake. My people do not make war. We know nothing of military strategy or combat tactics. Surely you meant to choose someone else." "No mistake," Ben replied calmly. "I choose you, Princess Vera." The Thessarin delegation exchanged worried glances. Vera's advisor, an older crystal being named Kem, leaned forward. "Young human, you do not understand. The princess has never left our homeworld before this gathering. She has no experience with the harsh realities of space conflict. One strong shock wave could shatter her completely." Ben knelt down so he was at eye level with Princess Vera. "During the competition, I watched you analyze every scenario. You see patterns that others miss. That's more valuable than any weapon or technology." Princess Vera's crystal skin shifted to a deeper blue, which Ben had learned meant confusion or uncertainty. "I do not understand, Commander. I am not a warrior or a strategist. I am simply a scholar who studies mathematics and logic patterns." "Exactly," Ben smiled. "War is mathematics and logic patterns, just applied differently." The ceremony continued despite the ongoing murmur of confusion from the audience. Traditional vows were exchanged, making the partnership official. Princess Vera would accompany Ben aboard his ship for 1 year, helping to resolve conflicts and maintain peace between worlds. As they left the arena together, many representatives shook their heads in disbelief. The Krex leader spoke loudly enough for Ben to hear, "The human will learn soon enough. When real danger comes, crystal breaks and warriors survive." Aboard Ben's ship later that evening, Princess Vera sat carefully in the specially cushioned chair Ben's crew had prepared for her. She still seemed overwhelmed by everything that had happened. "I must ask again, Commander Torres," she said quietly. "Why did you really choose me? My people have no military strength to offer Earth. We cannot even defend ourselves properly." Ben pulled up a holographic display showing one of the competition scenarios. "During the battle simulation with the three-way attack, I saw you trace something on your chair. What were you calculating?" Princess Vera's crystal features shifted to a lighter blue, indicating surprise. "You noticed that?" "I was simply working out more efficient defensive patterns. The strategies being used had significant logical flaws that could be exploited." "Show me," Ben said. For the next hour, Princess Vera demonstrated her analysis of the battle scenarios. Her understanding of mathematical relationships and pattern recognition was extraordinary. She could see weaknesses and opportunities that Ben had missed completely. Her crystal fingers moved gracefully as she outlined tactical possibilities that seemed obvious once she explained them, but which no one else had considered. "This is why I chose you," Ben said finally. "Military academies teach us to fight the last war. You see wars that haven't been fought yet." Princess Vera was quiet for a long moment, her crystal skin slowly shifting through different shades as she processed this information. "But Commander, these are just theoretical exercises. I have never experienced real conflict or violence. What happens when actual lives are at stake?" Before Ben could answer, alarms began blaring throughout the ship. His communications officer's voice came over the intercom. "Commander Torres, we're receiving distress calls from the Altair system. Pirate fleets are attacking civilian colonies. The local defense forces are outnumbered 3-1. Ben looked at Princess Vera, whose crystal form had gone completely clear with what he was learning meant fear among her people. "Princess, would you like to see how theory becomes practice?" Princess Vera took a deep breath, her crystal body slowly shifting back to its normal blue coloration. "Yes, Commander Torres. I believe it is time I learned what my new partnership truly means." As Ben's ship jumped to hyperspace, racing toward the Altair system, Princess Vera studied the tactical displays with intense focus. Her crystal fingers began tracing patterns again, but this time she was calculating solutions for a real battle where real people would live or die based on the decisions they made together. The true test of Ben's unexpected choice was about to begin. The journey to the Altair system took 12 hours through hyperspace. During that time, Princess Vera worked alongside Ben's tactical team, studying every piece of information about the pirate attacks. Her crystal fingers moved constantly across the display screens as she analyzed attack patterns and defensive positions. Ben watched her work with growing amazement. Where his experienced officers saw chaos and random violence, Vera found mathematical patterns. "The pirates are not attacking randomly," she explained to the assembled crew. "They follow a specific sequence based on planetary resource values and escape route efficiency." Commander Nash, Ben's second-in-office, looked skeptical. "Princess, with respect, these are the Bloodwing pirates. They're known for unpredictable strikes. There's no pattern to find." Vera's crystal skin shifted to a confident silver tone. "There is always a pattern, Commander Nash. Watch." She highlighted several star systems on the tactical display. "They attack mineral-rich worlds first, but only those within 2 hyperspace jumps of nebula clouds where they can hide their ships. They avoid systems with heavy military presence, but they will attack lightly defended worlds even if the resources are smaller." She traced lines between the attacked systems with her finger. "If this pattern continues, their next target will be the Theta colony. It has medium resources, weak defenses, and sits exactly 1 jump from the Crimson Nebula." Ben studied her analysis carefully. The pattern was subtle but clear once she pointed it out. "How long do we have?" "Based on their timing between previous attacks, approximately 18 hours after they finish at Altair," Vera replied. The ship dropped out of hyperspace at the edge of the Altair system. Immediately, Ben's communications officer began receiving multiple distress signals. The main colony world was under attack by 6 pirate vessels, while 2 smaller mining stations were also being raided. "Standard approach would be to engage the main pirate fleet directly," said Commander Nash, studying the tactical situation. "Our ship is more advanced than theirs, but 6-1 odds are dangerous." Princess Vera studied the display with intense focus. Her crystal body had shifted to a deep blue, indicating concentration. "Commander Torres, may I suggest an alternative approach?" Ben nodded. "Go ahead, Princess." "The pirates are using standard pack tactics," Vera explained. "They rely on numbers and confusion. But their formation has a mathematical weakness. If we approach from this angle and target their command ship first, the others will scatter according to their emergency protocols." She highlighted specific positions on the display. "However, if we position our ship here and send out these specific false signals, we can make them think we have reinforcements coming from multiple directions. Their pack mentality will turn into panic." Commander Nash frowned. "That's a lot of assumptions, Princess. What if they don't react as expected?" "Then we implement backup plan Beta," Vera replied immediately. She outlined 3 additional strategies, each building on different possible pirate responses. Her ability to think several moves ahead impressed even Ben's most experienced officers. "Do it," Ben decided. "All hands, prepare for Princess Vera's tactical plan." The engagement began exactly as Vera predicted. Ben's ship approached from an unexpected angle while broadcasting false identification signals. The pirates, thinking they faced multiple enemies, broke formation just as Vera had calculated. What happened next surprised everyone, including Princess Vera herself. As the ship's weapon systems engaged, vibrations from the combat resonated through the hull. Princess Vera's crystal body began to glow softly. At first, Ben worried she was in pain, but then he noticed something extraordinary happening. The ship's tactical computer, which normally processed information at standard speeds, suddenly began working much faster. Data flowed across the screens at incredible rates. Targeting solutions appeared almost instantly. Navigation calculations that usually took minutes completed in seconds. "Princess," Ben called out over the sound of weapon fire, "what's happening to our systems?" Vera looked surprised by the question. "I am interfacing with your computer networks, Commander. Is this not normal? The quantum resonance from your ship's systems matches the frequency of my crystal structure. I thought all allies provided such assistance." Commander Nash stared at his displays in amazement. "Sir, our computer processing power just increased by 400%. Our targeting accuracy is perfect. I've never seen anything like this." The battle ended quickly. With Vera's enhanced computer assistance, Ben's ship moved like a living thing, dodging pirate weapons while landing precise strikes. The pirate fleet retreated after losing 2 ships and seeing their carefully planned attack fall apart. But the real test came 18 hours later at Theta Colony, just as Vera had predicted. Word had spread quickly about the unusual partnership between the human commander and the Crystal Princess. When Ben's ship arrived at Theta Colony ahead of the pirate attack, they found representatives from several other species waiting for them. Captain Zara of the Altair Defense Force, a reptilian saurian, approached Ben with obvious curiosity. "Commander Torres, we heard rumors about your new tactical advisor. The miners you rescued are telling strange stories about impossible computer speeds and perfect battle predictions." "The stories are true," Ben replied simply. "Princess Vera has abilities we're still discovering." When the Bloodwing pirates arrived at Theta Colony, they faced something they had never encountered before. Princess Vera had spent the waiting time analyzing their ship's technical specifications. She discovered that their hulls used a specific metal alloy that became brittle when exposed to certain sound frequencies. "Captain Zara," Vera addressed the Saurian officer, "your people's natural vocal range can produce sonic attacks. If you modulate your ship's communication arrays to broadcast at these specific frequencies, the pirate hulls will develop structural weaknesses." The Saurian captain looked doubtful. "Princess, our sonic abilities are used for communication, not warfare. We've never weaponized our voices. Everything can be a weapon if used correctly," Vera replied with growing confidence. "Your people have a natural advantage that you simply haven't recognized." The battle at Theta Colony became legendary. Princess Vera coordinated the defense using multiple species' unique abilities in ways no one had imagined. Saurian sonic attacks weakened pirate hulls. Human ships provided precise targeting data enhanced by Vera's computer interface abilities. Local mining vessels, normally useless in combat, served as mobile sensor platforms to track enemy movements. The Bloodwing pirates suffered their worst defeat in years. More importantly, word of the victory spread throughout the sector. Over the following weeks, Princess Vera's reputation grew rapidly. Species that had never considered themselves military powers began to recognize their potential. The Melodic Collective, whose people communicated through harmonic frequencies, learned they could disrupt enemy sensor systems. The geoengineers, who shaped planets for a living, realized their asteroid-moving technology could be adapted for space combat. Princess Vera traveled from world to world with Ben, not as a conqueror but as a teacher. She showed each species how their unique traits could become strengths. Her crystal nature allowed her to interface with almost any computer system, making ship networks work better together than anyone thought possible. But their success was attracting attention from dangerous sources. The Krex Dominion controlled 17 star systems through military might. They had built their empire by conquering species they considered weak or primitive. For over 2 centuries, no one had successfully challenged their expansion. General Thok, supreme commander of the Krex war fleets, studied the reports about the Crystal Princess with growing anger. "A glass creature and a human are making our enemies brave," he growled to his staff. "Weak species think they can resist us because of some tactical tricks." "Sir," his intelligence officer reported, 12 different worlds have requested meetings with this Princess Vera. They're calling her the Crystal General now. Our expansion into the outer sectors is meeting stronger resistance than expected." General Thok's armored fist crashed down on his command table. "Then we will demonstrate what happens when crystal meets steel. Prepare the fleet. We will crush this princess and her human pet, along with anyone foolish enough to follow them." The Krex Dominion began mobilizing its largest war fleet in 50 years. 40 battle cruisers and over 200 support vessels prepared for a campaign designed to end the growing resistance once and for all. News of the Krex mobilization reached Ben's ship within days. Princess Vera sat in her specially designed command chair, studying intelligence reports with her usual intense focus. But this time, her crystal skin showed flashes of red, indicating deep concern. "Commander Torres," she said quietly, "we have created a situation beyond our current capabilities to handle. The Krex fleet approaching us is larger than the combined defenses of all our allied worlds." Ben sat beside her, reviewing the same tactical displays. "Princess, you found solutions to every problem we've faced so far. Do you see any possibilities here?" Princess Vera was silent for several minutes, her crystal fingers tracing complex patterns on her chair. When she finally spoke, her voice carried a new tone of determination. "Yes, Commander. But the solution requires something my people have never attempted. We must organize not just individual battles, but an entire war. We need allies we haven't met yet, strategies that haven't been tested, and coordination across distances that have never been attempted." She turned to face Ben directly, her crystal features now glowing with resolved confidence. "I believe it is time for the Crystal General to truly earn that title." The war for the outer sectors was about to begin, and Princess Vera had just accepted the challenge of a lifetime. 6 months had passed since Princess Vera first left her homeworld. The fragile crystal being who once feared her own shadow now stood in the command center of the largest volunteer fleet in galactic history. Representatives from 47 different worlds surrounded her, each offering their unique abilities in the fight against Krex expansion. General Vera, called Captain Zara, now commanding the entire Saurian defense fleet. "Our scouts report the Krex armada has reached the neutral zone. They'll be in our territory within 2 days." Princess Vera studied the massive holographic display that dominated the command center. Her crystal skin had developed new patterns over the months, flowing lines that pulsed with soft light as she processed information. The scared princess was gone, replaced by a brilliant military strategist who had earned her title through dozens of successful campaigns. "How many ships do we face?" she asked, her voice now carrying the authority of command. 43 heavy battle cruisers, 180 support vessels, and General Thok's personal dreadnought, reported Commander Nash, who had become one of Vera's most trusted advisors. "It's the largest Krex fleet assembled in 50 years. Ben watched from his position near the tactical displays. Over the months, he had gradually stepped back as Vera grew into her role. She no longer needed his constant guidance, though she still valued his human perspective on creative problem-solving. "Numbers alone will not defeat us," Vera said calmly. Her crystal fingers began tracing patterns on her command console, a habit that had become legendary among her officers. "The Krex rely on overwhelming force and traditional tactics. They expect us to meet them in direct battle where their superior firepower will decide the outcome." "General," spoke Ambassador Kree of the Harmonic Collective, "our combined fleets total only 90 ships. Even with our tactical advantages, facing twice our numbers seems impossible." Vera's crystal skin shifted to confident silver. "Ambassador Kree, you are thinking like individual fleets fighting separate battles. We are going to demonstrate something the galaxy has never seen before. She activated a new display showing the positions of allied worlds across 3 star sectors. For the past month, my people on Thessera have been growing special crystal relay networks on each of our allied worlds. These networks can transmit information instantaneously across any distance. The assembled officers stared at the display in amazement. Commander Nash was the first to understand the implications. General, are you saying you can coordinate simultaneous attacks across multiple star systems in real time? Precisely, Commander. Vera's crystal form began to glow softly as she interfaced with the ship's computer systems. The Krex Empire spans 17 systems, but most of their fleet is here with us. Their remaining defenses are minimal because they believe in concentrating their forces. She highlighted specific positions across the galactic map. While General Thok focuses on our main fleet, coordinated strikes will hit 15 different Krex installations simultaneously. Their supply lines, communication networks, and backup forces will be eliminated before they realize what is happening. The plan was ambitious beyond anything previously attempted. It required precise timing across vast distances and perfect coordination between species that had never worked together before this war. What about their main fleet here? Asked Captain Zara. 43 battle cruisers can still destroy us even if we eliminate their support infrastructure. Vera smiled, an expression that made her crystal features sparkle like starlight. Captain, the Krex have one crucial weakness that their strength has hidden for centuries. They have never learned to fight as anything except individual ships following simple orders. Watch what happens when we remove their central command structure. The battle began exactly as General Thok expected. The Allied fleet approached in what appeared to be a desperate frontal assault. Krex ships moved into their traditional formation, heavy cruisers in front with support vessels providing covering fire from behind. The crystal creature leads her pets to slaughter, General Thok laughed from his command bridge. All ships, advance. We will crush them quickly and move on to their homeworlds. But as the Krex fleet committed to their attack, Princess Vera activated her master strategy. The crystal relay networks on 47 worlds pulsed with synchronized energy. Through her unique crystalline nature, Vera became the central node of a communication network spanning half the galaxy. Her consciousness touched every allied fleet simultaneously, coordinating their movements with impossible precision. Across 15 star systems, Krex installations came under attack at exactly the same moment. Supply depots exploded. Communication arrays went silent. Garrison fleets found themselves facing enemies that seemed to anticipate their every move. At the main battle, Princess Vera's fleet began moving in patterns that confused the approaching Krex forces. Ships from different species worked together seamlessly, each playing to their strengths while covering others' weaknesses. Saurian vessels used their sonic abilities to disrupt Krex targeting systems. Harmonic collective ships broadcast frequencies that interfered with enemy communications. Human vessels provided precise tactical data enhanced by Vera's computer interface abilities. But the most devastating tactic came from an unexpected source. The geoengineer ships, massive vessels designed for planetary construction, had been modified with Princess Vera's guidance. Instead of moving asteroids to build worlds, they began hurling specially prepared crystal fragments at the Krex fleet. These fragments, grown in Thesseran crystal gardens, were designed to shatter on impact and embed in enemy hulls. Once attached, they created resonance feedback that interfered with Krex computer systems and weapon targeting. What is happening to our systems? General Thok demanded as his flagship's displays began flickering with errors. Around him, other Krex ships were reporting similar problems. The answer came from Princess Vera's voice, broadcast across all frequencies. General Thok, you are experiencing the weakness of rigid thinking. Your ships are designed to overpower individual enemies, not to adapt to coordinated resistance. As crystal fragments continued to attach to Krex vessels, their computer systems became increasingly unreliable. Ships that relied on automated targeting found their weapons firing at empty space. Formation coordination fell apart as communication systems failed. But General Thok was not finished. His personal dreadnought was heavily shielded and carried enough firepower to destroy Princess Vera's command ship even without computer assistance. All ships, target the crystal creature's vessel, he ordered through manual communication systems. If we kill their leader, the alliance will collapse. 20 Krex battle cruisers turned their weapons toward Princess Vera's ship. The combined firepower would be enough to vaporize any single vessel, no matter how well defended. Princess Vera watched the enemy ships converge on her position with calm analysis. Commander Torres, it appears our final lesson is about to begin. Ben moved to stand beside her command chair. What lesson is that, General? That sometimes the greatest strength comes from accepting help instead of trying to stand alone, she replied. Princess Vera activated a signal that reached every ship in her fleet simultaneously. All vessels, Formation Crystal 7. Protect the network. What happened next became legend throughout the galaxy. The Allied fleet moved as a single organism, each ship precisely positioned to create overlapping defensive fields around Princess Vera's vessel. Saurian ships absorbed energy weapons with their natural resistant hulls. Harmonic collective vessels deflected projectiles with carefully tuned sound barriers. Human ships provided targeting data while geoengineer vessels created debris fields to block incoming fire. But most remarkably, Princess Vera herself became a living computer network, processing tactical information from every ship simultaneously and redistributing it instantly to wherever it was needed most. The Krex bombardment struck a defensive web stronger than any single ship could provide. Their concentrated firepower, which should have been devastating, was absorbed and redirected by a fleet working in perfect harmony. Impossible, General Thok whispered as his attack failed completely. Not impossible, Princess Vera replied through the communication system. Simply the result of 47 different species choosing cooperation over conquest. The battle ended when the remaining Krex ships, leaderless and unable to coordinate effectively, began surrendering individually. General Thok's dreadnought, isolated and surrounded, finally lowered its weapons after Princess Vera offered terms that preserved the honor of his crew while ending their empire's expansion. In the aftermath, as Allied ships began rescue operations and damage assessment, Princess Vera sat quietly in her command chair. The glow in her crystal skin had dimmed to a soft, peaceful light. Ben approached her with a smile of deep satisfaction. General, you've accomplished something remarkable here. You've shown the galaxy that strength comes in many forms. Princess Vera looked up at him with gratitude. Commander Torres, I could never have learned these lessons alone. Your people's gift for seeing potential where others see weakness made all of this possible. Around them, the command center buzzed with activity as representatives from dozens of worlds began planning their new alliance. The Krex Dominion would be reformed as a federation of equal partners rather than conquered subjects. Trade routes would be protected by cooperative fleets instead of military occupation. What will you do now? Ben asked. You could command any fleet in the galaxy. Princess Vera smiled, her crystal features reflecting the starlight streaming through the bridge windows. I think it is time to return home and teach my people that we are not as fragile as we believed. There are other parts of the galaxy where small voices need to become strong, and weak species need to discover their hidden strengths. As news of the victory spread, historians would mark this as the moment when the age of conquest ended and the age of cooperation began. The Crystal General had shattered more than an empire, she had broken the old assumptions about power and weakness that had governed the galaxy for centuries. Ben watched Princess Vera address her fleet one final time, no longer the scared creature who had trembled in an arena months ago, but a leader who had learned to turn every disadvantage into an advantage, every weakness into strength. The human had chosen a delicate alien princess as his prize. Now she commanded the respect of 1,000 worlds.